Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It is your girl, Miss Honey, in for a quick video. I wanted to come in and talk about the whole Andrew Gillum situation because when the story first dropped, I found it interesting. Went to a couple of reliable sources, and all of those sources I think were being very, very fair about their reporting of the situation, told what happened, and I have heard that same story consistently, with the same consistent story about what actually is known about the situation, what we can say factually is known about the situation. There's a lot of suppositions out there, but again, those things are not necessarily facts. Okay, I'm just talking about the same consistent story that has been told about this situation. And so when you have this consistency, you can say at the bare minimum, this much we know is true. So we only going to talk really factually about those things we have seen to be consistently the story of what really went on. We also are going to talk about some of those suppositions and how those some of those suppositions have permeated social media, YouTube, the whole nine. People are on different sides of the spectrum. Some people feel like they need to throw the baby out with the bathwater, meaning get rid of Andrew Gillum and everything that he's built, discard him, get away with it. Like this is sullied his record. And on the other side of it, people feel like their level of supposition is that all the facts are not in. He has done a lot of good, and they don't want to throw the baby or the bathwater out. They want to give the baby a second chance. Let's see what's really going on with the temperature of this bath water. For right now, it's not enough for me to really be concerned. Okay? And then you got people like me who I don't care. I don't care whether you keep them or you discard Andrew Gillum for this incident. For me personally, that doesn't necessarily matter, because what's going to be is going to be, right? But what my input in as a Georgia voter, and Andrew Gillum is in Florida, but let's say I was in Florida, I would not vote for Andrew Gillum again. I would need to see some things to let me know that this isn't a trend. This isn't a pattern for you. This isn't a part of a larger problem or a symptom of a much larger problem that you may have going on. I need to be able to trust you. And it does not matter to me your skin color. It does not matter to me your sexual preference. It does not matter to me if you're male or female. What matters to me on a basic human level, just humanness, is, do you have a standard that you don't go below? Do you have a bar that you have set that you don't overreach from unless it's for the greater good, or you don't go below unless it's for the greater good? Okay? Are you doing what's right? Are you doing what is sound? Are you doing the job that you were set up to do? Do you have everything you need to do the job that you were set up to do? Okay? I don't believe that if this incident is gone on to be proven, for me, it doesn't look like a lot of people are talking about it anymore. We are so consumed with things that are going on health-wise in the United States that a lot of people aren't focused on this. And Andrew Gillum has a ton of people who support him in a very positive way. And they are working very hard to get us to stop talking about it and get us to move on, which I think we all would have done by now. Except I think that if it is being proven that if you have a different opinion about the situation and you don't see it in such a holly go lightly type of way, then you must be judging Andrew Gillum. Okay, I can judge a situation and not judge the man. Now, if the man is a part of the situation, then everything gets swept up together. It's up to that individual to both verbally and physically, in living in a living example form, prove that this is not who they are. Especially if you want my vote. Especially if you want me to trust you with my tax money. Are you there? Oh, okay. Especially if you want me to trust you when you go to Congress, when you go to the White House to speak up, to be spoken for, and to speak on. It has some value. I'd like to look at it. I'd like to look at it a little bit more before we all pack it up and put it away. I have my opinion on it. It doesn't have to be viewed as judgment. I personally think if you think it's nothing to this, it's no big deal, I personally think you're making excuses without having an informed decision. You're willingly not wanting to look closer. You're willingly not wanting to unpack. You can't get upset when other people unpack. And I'm not saying people can go too far to the left or too right, too religious, too dogmatic, too conservative. We can all be too much of anything. But that's what the point of this story is about, really. Doing too much and going too far. Okay? Doing too much and going too far. Let's talk about it, okay? Now, I also want to say none of us are exempt from consequences, okay? Doesn't matter if you're a celebrity, doesn't matter if you're a well-known, well-liked politician, does not matter. I mean, let's go back. What's the name of old dude everybody was rooting for? I think he was in Texas. I can't think of his name. Y'all put it down below. He done fell way off. He was supposed to be a golden boy too. He's supposed to be the new Kennedy, right? Okay. But let's move forward. So I want to start by saying none of us are exempt from consequences. And I'm going to be giving a lot of little colloquialisms, a lot of little old sayings that my people taught me. This is how I make informed decisions. This is how I draw the line in the sand. This is how I set my bar. I use the tools that were given to me, not only through education, work experience, but also how I was reared as a child, how I was brought up, and how I have tried to find balance in my life by living free, being a free thinker, being a critical thinker, but also using some level sets that keep me from going 222 222. You know what I mean? Okay. So Andrew Gillum is a 40-year-old African-American male, married man. He has 3 children. He's married to his wife. I think her name is pronounced RJ. It's capital R and then JAI is the second part of the first name. Okay, so I think her name is pronounced RJ Gillum. And here's the situation. On Friday, police were called by a third party to a hotel room that this third party had used his credit card to book, to rent, okay? He gave his credit card information to the individual that was found to be overdosed or overdosing, okay? Go and rent this room. So Andrew Gillum and this dude that was found to be overdosed or overdosing, okay, this is the story, go to this room where Andrew Gillum is so intoxicated, so inebriated that he is semi-passed out. When this third party who used his credit card to rent this room for what now appears to be the 3 of them, maybe he used the room to rent just for himself and the person that was found to be overdosing. Maybe he gave the credit card to the person who was found to be overdosing because at the time he was a sober. And this is all supposition. He was the only sober one in the group. Go and get us a room. Now, So when this third party comes to this room where Andrew Gillum and this overdosing guy is he tries to wake them both, if I'm not mistaken. The person that was overdosed the first time. He showed signs of overdosing, and the third party got him straight and got him in the bed and thought everything was fine. Meanwhile, Andrew Gillum was supposed to be in the bathroom throwing up, right? Because he's super inebriated. Right. Then the overdosing individual goes back into overdosing stage, and the third party, the individual who had rented the room, began to do CPR and apply chest compressions. And when the medical emergency persisted, he called the police. Okay, now generally you call the ambulance, but maybe they did call the ambulance, and the ambulance, when you call 911, they dispatch everybody. They could dispatch the ambulance, they could dispatch fire department if they're closer. They gonna also probably more than likely dispatch the police, right? So, but it was said that the police were called. And then when the police were called, this is the story that the third party who rented the room with his credit card gave. Okay. Andrew Gillum then comes out and not only apologizes, but says that he was there to attend a wedding. He says that he had way too much to drink. He apologized for that and any distraction that it may have caused to his campaign or to his career trajectory, all the hopes and dreams everybody had put into him, the momentum he was gaining, whatever. He apologized for slowing any of that down. And he wanted to assure everyone that he has not now nor ever done methamphetamine, right? Okay, fine. Somebody contacted the guy who overdosed or was overdosing, who is, thank God, safe and sound, well, alive, was contacted by a news reporter, I believe, and was asked a series of questions. What about this wedding? The guy who overdosed or was overdosing said that he had no knowledge about any wedding. He can't really speak on that. He said that he also had known Andrew Gillum for about a year and a half. They met last year sometime, right? So they tried to ask a few more questions. He didn't want to talk anymore after that. Now, he has directly linked himself, if the reports are true, with Andrew Gillum. Okay, so people gonna automatically dig into this individual, this person that overdosed or was overdosing. And there are some stories out there that this person was a male escort. There are some stories out there that this person was on social media in different forms, different venues, different platforms. And he liked to show his body. He liked to show the front of his body. He liked to show the back of his body. He was considered himself to be sort of a social media model type thing. The guy is a Caucasian male, if I'm not mistaken, very buff, very, if this is the right picture of this individual, he seems very buff, very physically fit type individual. We don't know anything about the third party that rented the room. We don't know about this person. This person did not speak out, as far as we know, beyond calling the police, right? But the person is attached to the situation because the person used their credit card to rent the room. And maybe that's why the person called the police, because you can't have no room in my name and something jump off. Somebody passed away in the room, like, people gonna be looking at you crazy, right? So, yeah. Anyway, so this is the gist of the story, basically. What happened? Let me just say this. If this was a regular Joe versus a public figure or political figure, we may not have an opinion about it all, because people get caught up in all types of situations. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of different reasons. You got in the wrong car. You thought everybody was going to the same place. You hanging with a whole group of people. You might know one of those persons out of that group, but it might be 3 or 4 other people in that group that's down for whatever, they get down for whatever, and you may not know until you get where you going and you realize, oh, okay, this right here about to be that type of situation, and you decide then, am I down for this or not? Which is a lot of reasons why I drive myself. Okay, I drive myself, so when I'm ready to pull up, when things aren't copacetic, I can pull out, right? So, but definitely when you're a public figure, you have to move differently. You have to think a couple of steps ahead. Like, you have to say to yourself, okay, like, I can't go to this person's event because maybe they anti-LGBT and I'm not anti-LGBT. I don't want that to even be put out there. I don't even want to touch that, right? So you don't go to that person's event for that. Likewise, probably shouldn't be hanging with people who are predominantly anti-LGBT, right? Because again, you don't want that stigma to be put on you either by assimilation. You know what I mean? Association brings on assimilation. People making that having that perception of the situation, thinking, okay, you hang with this individual, you must be of the same mindset as this individual, right? This just on the outside looking in. So to me, it is a little different than if you're a regular Joe. To me, the bar is set a little higher when you're a political figure because you have to watch your step all the time, including when it comes to drinking. Now, me, I know what my limit is. Okay, if it's a short time span, if I'm at dinner for 2 hours, I'll probably have 2 drinks. Okay, if I'm at dinner for 3 to 4 hours, I might have 3 drinks. It doesn't matter if I'm at dinner for 6 hours. I don't go over 3 drinks. That's just me. That's just my thing. I know my level. I know what it takes for me to be upright and sober and coherent enough to get home, to make decisions on the road, that type of thing. If I feel like I can't even slightly can't do that, can't walk, then I'm at dinner until I can get myself together, or I'm calling a cab, or I'm calling an Uber. It's just what it is. I'm not interested in trying to negotiate the road, and I'm not coherent. That's just me. That's just me. And that's the standard I don't go below. I mean, I'm a 3-drink girl at most, and that really depends on how long I'm going to be at dinner. I make that decision because I'm responsible, not just for me. I'm responsible and I'm accountable to the people that I take care of, the people that love me, the people that would be responsible for coming to bail me out. Okay, I'm responsible not to cause any undue hardship or strain on them. Like, we're all accountable to somebody for something, right? Even if it's just to yourself, even if it's just to your own well-being. Like, make the smart decisions, right? But especially when you are a political figure. When you are a political figure, you are also in charge of making choices, making laws. You're responsible for picking vendors and sponsors and decisions about rulings and endorsements and just the right thing to do. If you lack the self-control, if you lack that level of accountability, then you might feel like you can do anything. And we're seeing this across the board. Not just in this year, not just with the 2016 election, but we've seen it across the board. People feel like they can jump off and do whatever it is they want to do. There are consequences for every action. And like my mom and them used to say, you can do wrong, right? You can do wrong, right? Okay, let's say you do like to have more than your fair share of drinks, to the point where you're not really sure what's going on. You can't make it to the door, all of this stuff. Maybe if you like to drink like this, maybe you should drink in a more closed-in environment where the decision is not how you gonna get 6 miles away, but how you gonna get 6 feet away to the bedroom, 6 feet away to the sofa, right? You might want to have some adults around you that are responsible, okay? Because you got a lot riding on this. You still want to wild out, you still want to drink, but you got a lot riding on the fact that you need to drink right, okay? Now, I don't know if the wedding was Thursday. I'm not sure. Maybe the wedding was Saturday. I'm not sure. But he said he had been to a wedding. So either he did it Thursday night or he did it Friday morning. One or the other, I don't know. We don't know about this wedding. We don't have all the details about this wedding. And apparently, we're not allowed to ask questions about this wedding. We're not allowed to factor the wedding into the story at all. Okay? But we didn't bring up the wedding. Andrew Gillum did. Okay, so people gonna have questions about it. It was a Friday, right? What time of day was this phone call made? Friday night over into Saturday morning? No, no, no. I think we was talking about it Friday, so it must have happened somewhere between Thursday night and Friday morning, sometime ish. Right? That's fine. Y'all don't want us to talk about that. That's fine. Okay. Apparently, all that Andrew Gillum has done in his political career is supposed to usurp any questions one may have about a situation. And you know, depending on who the individual that gets caught in the situation depends on if we question them or not. But Andrew Gillum, for whatever reason, is supposed to be held, you know, as above, okay, treated with kid gloves. And for the most part, it seems like a lot of people are. But at the same time, you can't be upset that people have questions. Like, I don't get it. I don't get that. I have questions, and let's move on. I have an opinion, and let's move on into that opinion. Okay, let's do it. All right, so a lot of people say, well, you know, he's done so much good. His good outweighs whatever this is. It could have been a setup. It could have been a setup. Absolutely. Which is why you govern yourself accordingly. Okay? Which is why you move in a certain way. You carry yourself in a way. You carry yourself in a sober way. Okay? Especially when you out there in the public eye, when you got other parties playing into the situation. The only thing you're going to really control in that whole situation is yourself. And Andrew Gillum, out of his own admission, wasn't even in control of himself. Okay, so my thing is, when you did that first drink and that second drink, and it was just you and this one other person, or there was this one other person coming that you've known for a year and a half, how much did you know about this individual? How much did you know about how this individual was moving? Is this the company that you keep, right? Like, you know, maybe the methamphetamines was in the room it was an upscale hotel, so it seemed like to me they cleaned the room after every visit. But maybe not. Maybe this guy rented the room 2 days earlier, that they had been in the room all that time, and this was just the last day there. This was the day that they brought Andrew Gillum there. That Andrew Gillum came there. We don't know. This is all the supposition part. All of it still stinks. All of it still stinks. Okay, because the moment you take that drink that takes you over the edge, that leaves you in a place where you can't make a sound decision, then that's the first mistake that you make. As a political figure, as a married man, and as a father of 3, these are the 3 mistakes you made from Giddy Up. Still, it's not a condemnable reason. It's not a reason to condemn the man, because as humans, human nature, we make mistakes. We fall short. Got it. Get it. Okay, that's fine. Maybe, speaking in terms of why he was in this room with this first gentleman, the one that was overdosing or had overdosed, and who this other third party gentleman was, because as far as I can see, there were no women present at all. So it wasn't like if he was being set up to be this ne'er-do-well player type situation who was just caught up in, you know, with some girls and some drugs and that type of thing, which don't make it no better. Still he gets scrutiny from me. But because of the salacious society we live in, we eat it. We brush our teeth with salaciousness. We love the scandal in the situation. Here's a man that people are saying is a male escort. You ain't know all this in a year and a half. You not vetting out people that you hanging with. Even if you hanging with a person that you okay with their lifestyle and how they live in their lifestyle, you have to say to yourself, how does this affect me? How does this affect my career? How does this affect my wife? How does this affect my children? See, because Andrew Gillum is not out here as a single male, living his best life, enjoying his life. Okay? By night and by day, he is a successful politician. That's not his lifestyle. His lifestyle, what he's given us as a public figure is, I am what you people call normal. I'm the papa bear. I got a mama bear and 3 little baby bears. 3 little baby bears. Okay? See me? See how good? See how clean I look? See how normal I look? See how regular I look? This is the face that you must believe. This is the face you must hold on to. But at nighttime, I have a propensity, perhaps, to do some things that you guys may not necessarily consider to be okay. Yeah, maybe he like to drink too much. That's one thing. Maybe he don't know how to stop that. But then you got to throw onto the fire as well the fact that you don't make good choices in the people that you hanging around, the people that you dealing with. The people that you dealing with have a propensity for drugs and perhaps alcohol, allegedly. We don't know. The drugs were found in the room. But I don't know how you overdose or overdosing off of air. You could definitely go into, what do you call that when you drink too much alcohol? Anyway, you could definitely go into that type of health stressful situation. Sure, possibly. But you still don't know this about this dude? Huh? You ain't got nobody around you that you trust. Everybody that's around you has just as much invested in keeping the secret of y'all hanging out and the level of how y'all hanging out a secret just as much as you are. Y'all all for the get down and for your own selves. Just saying. Okay? Again, it don't have nothing to do with LGBTQ. Okay? I do say this. I say, if this is your lifestyle, why have a wife and 3 children? Why? Or why have the wife and the 3 children as supporting characters, main supporting characters in the story? Why? You could have a ex-wife and 3 kids. I still say you're held to a certain level of accountability because your kids look to you for guidance and rearing, right? But let's just say your wife was okay with you having an open marriage and you satiating some of these propensities that you may have for intimacy with males. Let's say that. Let's say your wife is cool with you going out and cutting loose and having a good time and being just a little bit more casual in your drinking. Okay? And having a good time, right? Let's say your wife okay with all of that. Now, in order for us to say that, we got to kind of know a little bit about the wife, right? Like, we're not really talking a lot about the wife. Nobody's really bringing the wife situation up. We're just throwing that out there as a possible reason why we may want to let this go, because he's shown himself to be a family man. And he's shown, and his wife hasn't come out and said a word. Now, why would she? Any decent wife know to be quiet. Okay, and just like Andrew Gillum, let this thing die out. Let this thing die away. But since y'all brought it up, y'all said, what if his wife was down with it? Let's talk about who his wife is. R.J. Gillum, I think currently, she's the director of Foundation Affairs at the Florida Dental Association. She was the previous director of Income and Health Strategies for the United Way. I think South Bend, something like that. She has a master's in public health. She's a Delta Sigma Theta, you know. Yeah, this a smart girl. She bring home the bacon and she fried up in a pan. And she's raising 3 beautiful children. Okay? Now, even if she said this is cool. Dollars to donuts. A woman who is the head of, the director of, leader of her pack, such an outstanding individual professionally, certainly you would have more conversation about parameters. What are those parameters? You know, don't let me catch you. Don't let it be seen in the public. Or I don't want you to do this. I commit to me that you will not do this. That this is, we don't know. See, we don't know if this was a surprise or this is becoming a trend. If every few years or so something come up. Now maybe it don't come up publicly, but this one of them times maybe your foot got caught in the rabbit trap, right? You bouncing through the woods, living free, naked as a jaybird, and clap. You get caught in the bear trap. Now, maybe you have bounced through the woods every night for the last 10 years, but this one night, your leg get caught in the trap. Yeah, Peter Rabbit. Okay, y'all. But you see my point. You see my point. She's a smart girl. Let's not dumb her down. Let's not dumb her down. Let's not dumb this woman down. I'm not saying she may not have had an agreement with her husband. I'm not saying she might not be out there living her own life. But a woman with so much to lose, who has worked so hard, dollars to donuts, if she set up an arrangement with her husband, a lot of it was contingent upon that he don't be out there dragging her and her children good name in the public by exposing himself to scam. Okay? All right. For me, what about your commitment to your family? This one of the reasons why I wouldn't vote for you. What about your commitment to your family? You had a covenant, a commitment, a contract with a wife, and consequently 3 little baby ducklings. Okay? You didn't think about none of that. Now I'm supposed to think about it as a public looking at, on the outside looking in. I'm supposed to think about your family. I'm supposed to think about your career. You wasn't. You wasn't at all. Let's say there were no meth. Okay, let's say that there was no separate males, okay, who had a propensity to do one thing or another. Okay, let's say you straight as an arrow. Okay, that you don't have this propensity for alternative lifestyles. Let's say you don't. Okay, you still a public figure, so inebriated that you are regurgitating, so inebriated that you're not really sure how you got where you were passed out, like you in this strange hotel room. Like that alone got me side-eyeing you. I don't understand why the mask. We say it's okay now. It is okay now for a person to live how they want to live, but you still got a wife and children. Does your wife participate? Does your wife want to participate? Do you need to let your wife go on and live her best life? And maybe you pursue your political career as who you are. An individual who enjoys the company of other same-sex individuals when it comes to marriage and intimacy. What's wrong with that? Why the picture? Why the picture? It really seems more like a cover, in my opinion. By themselves, over drinking, not necessarily a problem. Hanging out with a person that is openly in the LGBT community in one capacity or another. Now, I don't know about what the laws are in Florida in terms of sex workers. I don't know if it's illegal. I don't know if it's regulated. I know in parts of Nevada it is. It could quite possibly be in Florida. If not, then if I'm not mistaken, it's illegal. Prostitution is illegal. Whether it's in escort form or not, that's a situation. That's a situation within its own self. We don't know for sure what this individual really did. This individual, the one who was overdosing or overdosed, these pictures are out there, and they say 1,000 words, as they say. So just because he was with somebody of that community doesn't necessarily mean anything. Just because there were drugs there, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like I said, a lot of times you could move in a group, or you move with somebody you may not know like that, and you don't know what that person got on them. If you come meet me for lunch or for dinner, you don't know what I have on my person. You have no idea. You may know me. Maybe you've been out to dinner with me for a couple of times, but you don't know whether I got methamphetamines necessarily in my purse. You may notice if I'm moving funny, something like that, but you don't know. And if something were to happen and it were to come out that let's say I had some illicit drugs on me or something like that, then that's not necessarily your fault by itself. Okay. You been in a hotel room with two men is not necessarily alarming to me at all. But if you put it all together, it's a problem. It's a problem. Don't matter whether the drugs was yours or not. Don't matter if it was a setup. Like, it's a problem. Was he drugged where he was at the wedding and carried there? I don't know. But Andrew Gillum didn't say a word about that. He didn't say that. He didn't say he don't know how he got there. He didn't say he didn't know those individuals. He didn't. He admitted to drinking too much. He admitted to being inebriated. Now it bears saying he was not charged with anything. He was not drug tested, and he does not have any charges pending, far as we know. Thank goodness nobody passed away, because if this individual had passed away, it probably would have been a different situation. It probably would have been a different conversation, right? For me, separately, these things don't mean anything. But if you put them all together, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I have an opinion on it. Like I said, would not vote for him again, because I mean, the situation stinks. And if I'm not allowed to poke at it, if I'm not allowed to pick at it, how can I be sure? How can I be sure about your track record? Do you have a propensity for this thing? Is this something that's growing inside of you that you don't have a control over, that no matter how long you go without it, eventually it overtakes you? Because now this gets into, is this a person that can make smart decisions? Like I said, about laws, about decisions, about rulings, endorsement, sponsors, vendors, laws, choices. Really, really crucial decisions. Really, really crucial decisions. Now, maybe he can separate it. I worked, you worked, we all work with functional addicts. People who do their job successfully and well every day, but they either are drinkers or they have other habits. There's a such thing as a functional addict. Is it any less of a problem? Yeah, slightly. At the same time, it's not a problem until a problem arrives. You know what I'm saying? A problem arrive, and you getting caught with your pants down on all sides. You being exposed with your pants down on all sides. That's the problem with the problem. That's the problem with the situation, right? Like, it's never a problem in this world until it becomes a problem. It's up to you how much you overindulge or overdo to create a problem for yourself. It seems to me that you set yourself up, that the AG set himself up for a really, really good time. And the time it went south in a way, because you got these external parties that you are not in control of. Even if you were in control of them, you weren't in control of yourself to control the situation. Okay, if you have no commitment to this family, you have no commitment to this career that you built, you have no connection to this image that you have put forth enough to stand behind it or defend it. Okay, and I say that because I'm one of the people that said I will take a step back off my stance a little bit, ease up on it a little bit if he took a drug test. Why? I think all public officials should take drug tests, especially for opioids. Now, if you're an official and you're in California, and California is legal to smoke pot, marijuana is illegal, I ain't got no problem with you in that, all right? Just like I ain't testing you for cigarettes. But at the same time, if you in political office and you have an opioid problem, I think we should know about it. You handling money, you handling decisions, you writing bills, laws, you endorsing and enforcing? Huh? No, ma'am. No opioid. Okay, we relaxing the bar on opioid use? Okay, you're not using opioids. It wasn't on you. It wasn't on your person. It was just found in the room. Okay, prove it. Prove it. You want my vote? Prove it. You want my trust? Prove it. I would do it if he was a man trying to get with me. I would do it if he was my man and I found meth in his car. I'd be like, oh no, you finna take a drug test. You finna prove to me that you not on these drugs. I'm not finna just take your word for that. That's any human. My mama say anything wrapped in flesh is liable to do anything. I know you honeybees, my day ones, y'all heard me say it before. Anything wrapped in flesh is liable to do anything. That mean me, that mean you, that mean the man next door. Okay? That means your angelic, beautiful son sleeping in his bed. Little angel, little Becky sleeping in the bed. Wrapped in flesh, liable to do anything. Yeah. I mean, we have a baseline though, don't we? We have a baseline, a bar that we set for ourselves that we don't go below. And we need that bar. We need that bar to know basic human standards. This what we not gonna do. This is what we not going to do. We not going to prey on children. We are not going to be out here strung out on opioids. And we are not going to disrespect our family and our children. We're going to have value for that. We need to have those basic standards, because if we don't, if everything is flexible and fluid, like anybody can do anything at any time and it be cool, like that's fine, but you're going to have chaos. You're going to have chaos. We should have these standards. We've set forth these standards, and we need these standards to be adhered to on a very base level. On a very base level, you should be able to say, from everything that I know of this individual, they would not do this. Okay? They would not go this far. You need that to be able to trust and to move in trust and to make intelligent votes. You need that bar. Okay? And if you don't have that bar, you get things like this, where an individual can say they like to do a whole bunch of different things that may not necessarily be right. That may not necessarily be sound. That may not necessarily be politically correct, right? We open the door for a lot of different things. We have to have that bar. You said you were a family man. You said that you loved your wife and your children, and you put them first, and you put your country first, right? This is what you said. You said, look at this picture. You see this Papa Bear, you see this Mama Bear, and you see these 3 little baby bears, okay? White picket fence, okay? Give me some bubbles. Put some bubbles in the air. Bubbles makes everything lighter and more innocent, doesn't it? We got this bubble-covered picture. Lollipops and gumdrops and merry-go-rounds in the background, okay? But we come up on you having gone to a wedding and had way too much to drink and was hanging out with a dude that may or may not have been in an escort, a paid escort, and you may or may not have been feeling as though you have a connection with physically. You caught up in a situation where that person may or may not have had drugs on them. Put it all together and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And for me, Andrew Gillum will have to do a lot in order for me to overlook it. I don't care what anyone thinks about that. That is my opinion. Now, I'll change my opinion, but all of that depends on Andrew Gillum and how he moves next and how the story unfolds next. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Put it down below. Have you been following this on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram? What do you know about the situation? Have I missed part of it? Am I missing part of the forgiveness piece that I need to have? Because I'm down for forgiveness. It don't have nothing to do with the LGBTQ. Put it all together and it's a problem. It's a problem. It's a whole bunch of stuff. It's a whole bunch of stuff. that flies in the face of everything that you have shown us to be. Go silent. I go silent too, but I'm going to side-eye you. I'm side-eyeing you. And like I said, you wouldn't get my vote. And I'm giving everybody the same scrutiny. I'm giving everybody the same scrutiny. I'm judging everybody going forward as I vote. Everybody. Everybody gets the side eye because anything wrapped in flesh is liable to do anything. And we're at a time now where there's a boldness in the land. People are doing all kinds of stuff because people are making excuses for them. They aren't held accountable, depending on a whole bunch of stuff: skin color, economic situation, what part of the country you in, what part of the world you in, if you're a male, if you're a female. We make a lot of excuses for a lot of different people. Okay, and we're also finding that people who come to us with this sort of Snow White, lily white, by white I mean without blemish or stain. They come to us with this look, and deep down inside, they're not just human, but on a certain level, they may have a propensity to do some things that is really, really unseemly. And it doesn't just affect them, it affects their decisions, and it also affects how their family and their children are affected. That's just my opinion. Y'all tell me what you think. Put it down below. And until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah.